Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you some formulas and calculations you need in sewing. Sometimes some measurements might be sent to you and some of these measurements can be omitted, or you as a fashion designer might forget to take certain measurements. Don't worry, these formulas will help you. So if you are new to this channel, thank you very much, and to my returning subscribers, God bless you. And if you are yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. It is free. It is free, guys. So just go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notification bell to get notified when I upload a new video. Let's get started, guys. So welcome back. So guys, in this video we'll be making use of the pattern paper, the pattern I drew, basic bodice pattern I drew in my previous video. So I'll be making use of that, and the first formulas we'll be working with is the bust span. So yeah, we'll start with the bust span measurement. So I'll go ahead and tell you the formula for your bust span in case they sent it to you and your bust span was omitted. So your bust span is your bust circumference divided by 8 minus 1. So your bust circumference, you measure the person's bust circumference like the way you are taking a bust measurement. So the bust circumference of the person divided by 8 minus 1 will give you your bust span. So in this case, mine bust circumference is 36. So 36 divided by 8 now. So go ahead and divide 36 by 8. That is, divide your bust span by 8. So in my own case, I'm using 36 divided by 8. This will give us 4.5. So this will give us 4.5. So after getting that 4.5, then you minus it by 1, and this will give us 3.5. So I hope you understand, guys. So this is my bust span measurement. This is exactly my bust span measurement. So when you add this 3.5 plus 3.5, it will give you 7 inches, and that 7 inches will now be your nipple to nipple measurement. I hope you understand. So this is how to get your bust span in case the measurement was omitted, or in case you were unable to measure your client's nipple to nipple measurement. So just use this formula and it is very accurate. So we'll go to the number 2 formula. So for the number 2 formula, the formula is our armhole depth. So our armhole depth, how to get your armhole depth. So the formula for getting your armhole, before I write down the formula, so how to get this armhole, that is from that your shoulder to your chest line. So how to get it in case the measurement was sent to you or omitted, or you forgot to take it on your client. So the simplest way is to measure your client's shoulder. That is the shoulder divided by 2 will give you your armhole. I hope you understand. So for this, if you have the shoulder of your client, so in this case, the shoulder in this pattern paper is 7 inches. So because it is already divided, so that 7 plus 7 is 14. So the shoulder of the client is 14 inches. So just measure one shoulder from the other. So you just measure, so I'll just write the formula first. So you shoulder divided by 2, that will give you your armhole depth. So for this, the shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2, and that will give you 7 inches. this is your armhole. So let's go ahead and see it here. So the shoulder measurement, when you divide it by 2 to give you that from here, let me use my tape to demonstrate that. So you can see we have 7 inches on the dots here. So just go ahead and use your shoulder measurement divided by 2 to get your armhole. So in case you are making a fitted blouse, you leave it at that 7. You won't add anything if you want your dress to be very fitted. But if you want ease to be at your top or blouse, what you do is this 7 inches, you add 0.5, which is also half inches. So you add 0.5 to it. This 0.5 will be your ease allowance. And if you are making a sleeveless top, because you wouldn't want your armpits to be showing, so instead of 7, you minus 0.5 from the 7. I hope this is clear, guys. But if you don't understand, you can ask your questions. So that is all for your armhole depth. But also, in case the shoulder of the client is also omitted, in case they did not send the shoulder measurement to you, you can also use this formula, which is your bust what have I write? Your bust, guys, your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. So this other measurement is very popular, so you can also use this measurement. So I'll just use this pattern paper. That other one is a kind of full already. So in case your shoulder is omitted, what you do is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. So you measure the person's round bust circumference. So in my own case, I'll use 36. The round bust divided by 6 would also give you 6 inches. So go ahead and do that. You divide 36 divided by 6. Guys, please jot this down so that you always have it at the back of your mind. In case anytime you forget any of the measurements, you just go through it and it will really help you. So go ahead and divide 36 divided by 6. So I have 6 inches. So that's 6 now plus the 1.5 plus that 1.5 there. So this will give you 7.5 inches. So you can see it's still the same thing. So this 5 inches is when you want ease. This 5 inches is for the ease, but if you don't want 5 inches, you can just make use of 7 inches. So I hope this is clear, guys. You can see that it is the same thing. So I hope this is clear for the armhole depth. This is how to have your armhole depth. So you can use any of the formulas depending on the situation. So we'll move to the next one now. So for the next one, we'll be working on our sleeve caps height. So we'll be working on our sleeve caps height, how to get your sleeve caps height. Guys, this video is very detailed. I'm trying as much as I can to make it detailed. So the formula for getting your sleeve caps height is your bust circumference divided divided by 12 plus 1. So this will give you your sleeve cap's height. So the bust circumference I'm making use of is 36. So you say 36 divided by 12. So your bust divided 36 divided by 12 will give us 3 inches. So that 3 inches now you now say plus this 1 inches, which will give us 4 inches. So this is our sleeve cap's height. So I'll just demonstrate this. So let's say this is our fabric. Let's say this is our fabric and your sleeve cap's height is this is our length. Let's say this is the length of our sleeve, and your sleeve cap's height is from that place, from the top of that fabric. So you just measure like 4 inches down, like that. You just measure like 4 inches. That is the sleeve cap's height we just got. And I'll just label this as SC, sleeve cap's height. So this is our sleeve cap's height. You just measure it from the top of your fabric, whatever thing you get. So in my own case it is 4 inches. So now on this sleeve cap's height, that is where you place your armhole. So you just connect it from there to the sleeve cap's height like this, and then you look for the midpoint on that mark, and then you go up by half of an inch and you connect it like so and bring it to the other side. And then on this length you just mark the circumference of your arm. That is where your sleeve will stop. The circumference of that place, you just mark it, and that's all. So you can see that this is easy, and this is what we have. So this is what we have, as you can see. So now that is how to get your sleeve cap's height, which is your bust circumference divided by 12 plus 1 inches will give you your sleeve cap's height. And you measure your sleeve cap's height from the top of your fabric as indicated in this picture. In this what will I say, let's move to the next one, guys. So the next one is your bust cup size. So this one is a kind of should I say it's kind of long, or it's kind of broad like that. So but I'll try as much as I can to just so the formula is your bust circumference minus your under bust circumference. This will give you your bust cup size. So your bust circumference, that is the round part of your bust, minus your under bust circumference, the round side under bust, divided by 2 will give you your bust cup size. So in this case, the bust circumference is 36 inches minus the under bust circumference, which is 32 inches. So this divided by 2. So you say 36 minus 32 will give us 4 inches. 4 inches divided by 2 will give us 2 inches. So this 2 inches now is what we'll use when we are drafting a bustier. When you are drafting your bustier, so I'll just make use of this pattern paper for better clarification. So that our 3.3 that we got as our bust span, that 3.3, I taught you how to do this one. So this 3.3, so you go ahead now and you place 3.3 here. So we are assuming we are making a bustier top now. So I'll just show you guys how this works. So I'll just stop this on my waist. There's no need for you to get to the hip. So remember, on our bust points we normally come down by 1 inches. So I just came down by the 1 inches. After doing that now, the next we'll be doing is this 2 inches, this answer we got here. Guys, please, this is not for all bust size. Yours might be 3, yours might be 2.5, it might be 1.5 or 1.5, might be 2.5, so it depends. So these 2 inches I got now, so I'll place it like so. So just mark 2 inches from that, from just the way I'm placing my tape. So yours might be 1.5 or yeah, 1.5, but me, I mostly use 1.5 anyway. I don't normally use 2 inches. It's kind of big for me. So after placing that 2 inches, so on this other side you can use half inches, you can use 1 inches, so depends on what you want. So I just took half inches here. So now from that 1 inches, you just connect it like this. So you see, so that will give us our curve, the place for our bust to sit. So this depends on the bust size, guys. Everybody cannot be 2 inches, so please, it depends. So use your own calculation and know your own. So now if you are making a shoulder lad bust here, for example, now, so after doing this, now you just look for the midpoint of your shoulder. Let's say this is the midpoint, and you just connect your line like this down to that part. So you can see, if you look closely now, you will notice that the bust is kind of obvious a bit, though this is a rough work, but I hope you can see how it is. But in case you are making a armhole, a princess dart, so the way we'll do it is the same thing. You measure your armhole as well. You look for the midpoint and you connect it like so. So you see, so you can see that this one is even showing our bust part very well. So now you see, so you take whatever thing you took here. Remember, I took 2 inches, so you replace that 2 inches also on that armhole, 1 inches. Same thing with your shoulder as well. So you just do like this, because you'll be going up by 1 inches also from your bust. So you just go ahead and connect it like this. So I hope you understand. So that is basically it for this bust cup size. So if you go to the market and you want to buy your cup, you just say them you want cup size 4, not size 2. So you say you want size 4, and that is already made cup. So when you use it, you realize that it will sit perfectly on you. So this is how to do your bust cup size. So move to the next one, and for this one is the dart length. So I'll just use this my pattern paper that I drew in the previous video to demonstrate it. So the dart length, the formula is 1 inches. So you say 1 inches below your bust point. This is standard. When you're making any bustier, anything, you come down by 1 inches. When you're drafting your basic pattern, you come down by 1 inches from your bust point. So the second one is 2 inches above your hip point. Is the same thing, constant. When you're drafting your bustier and it's getting to the hip, or your basic bodies and it's getting to the hip, you go up by 2 inches. So this is what I mean. So you can see in this our pattern paper, this is the bust, this is the waist, and this is the hip. So you can see that on the bust line, just as I said earlier, I came down by 1 inches. So I'll just show you. You can see 1 inches, and that was what I wrote here, 1 inches below your bust line. Below your bust line. It is standard, guys. It's something you must do to get rid of pointiness and all of that. And on your hip, you go up by 2 inches, and I hope you can see that. You can see the mark clearly. Above your hip line, you go up by 2 inches above your hip line. So you can see, and after doing that, you just take your waist measurement, and your waist that is half inches on both sides, and you connect it, and that's just all for this part. So the next one we'll be working on now is flay. This flay is very broad, like, in fact, we have 4 kinds of flay anyway: 180, 360, 720, 1440. But we'll be focusing more on the 180 and the 360. So I'll just give you the formulas It's just the formulas I'm giving you. I'm not really like showing you how to cut it. So it's just the formula. So for the 180-degree flip, the formula for this is so that space is too small. So you, for the formula of this is whatever thing you're working on, the circumference of that thing divided by 3.14. So now I'll make use of a waist, for example. It can be a sleeve, it can be anything. Really, it can be anything. You might just want the circumference of a sleeve or something. It must not be your waist, but I'll make use of your waist. So let's say we are making a gathered skirt or a flare skirt. So we'll need the circumference of that waist, the waist part of the skirt. So let's take for instance that the waist for this client is 13 inches. So what you just do is the waist 13 inches divided by 3.14, and to give you 9. So when you are cutting on your fabric, let me just show you. So it will give us 9. So I'll just cut this out. Let me just show you what I mean. So let's just say you just fold your fabric like so. Just go ahead and just fold it. It's just a random folding. You just fold your fabric, and then this 9 inches you got, you measure 9 inches from there to here to here, 9 inches. So you measure 9 inches round. But do not forget, if I was making a skirt really and it's a gathered skirt, I will add sewing allowances so that I'll have gathers there. But if you don't want gathers, all you need to do is you just add stitching allowance, maybe 1 inches or 2 inches stitching allowance. I hope this is clear. So this is how you just cut it out when you are making a skirt. I just used a skirt. You can actually use any circumference you want. It must not be when you're making a skirt. So if it's a gathered skirt, you see that 9 inches, I will just add maybe like 5 inches to it, 6 inches, depending on how full you want it to be. So when you are now sewing, you'll be folding it, you'll be pleating it like this, and that is what will give you that fullness that you see on flared dresses, depending on how full you want it to be. But my interest is just in showing you the formula. So this formula is standard. It's a standard formula for all 180 degrees. This is a standard formula. Just divide whatever circumference you are working with divided by 3.14. So we'll move to the next one, which is a 360-degree flare. So the formula for this 360-degree flare will also be using a waist. So let's just say waist 30. Then the formula for this is divided by 6.28. So this is the formula for when you're making a 360-degree flare. So you say your waist circumference or whatever circumference divided by 6.28. So any answer you get, you just cut it the way I showed you in the previous one. So I'll just go ahead and show you what I mean by, I'll just go and show you what I mean. So dividing it now, this gave us 4 inches. So you pick up, I'll pick up a random paper again and just fold it randomly like this. And then after folding it, then you go ahead now on that edge, the folded part, guys, that's where you focus on. You measure 4 inches from there to here, 4 inches like this round, the way I showed you in the previous one. Go ahead and measure 4 inches. So after measuring the 4 inches, you will now go ahead and cut it out just as I did for the previous one. You can also add allowances if you want gathers. So if you don't want gathers, stitching allowance, you add that. So that's just all for the flare. If you want more videos or more tutorials on this, please let me know, and if you have any questions as well. So we'll move to the next one. And then the next one is off shoulder neckline. Off shoulder neckline. This can be really tricky. So these are bust points. Do not mind my drawing. Don't mind my drawing. So this off shoulder, this is what we'll be working on. This off shoulder, how to get it to fit perfectly, whereby it will not be too big or too tight on your client. So all you need to do is your bust span plus 1. So that's the formula. Your bust to get this your off shoulder neckline is your bust span plus 1. And as you know, my bust span is 3.5 inches, and I showed you how to get it. So just to show you, so this is 3.5 inches. You can see 3.5 inches. So to get your neckline for an off shoulder, you use your client's bust span. It might be 4, in your own case might be 5. All you need to do is whatever the bust span is, just add 1 inches to it, and that will give you a perfect neckline. So 3.5 plus 1 will give us 4.5. So when I'm drafting an off shoulder neckline, all I need to do is to use 4.5 as my neckline. So I hope you understand. So that will give me a perfect neckline. So I'll just demonstrate this a bit. This pattern paper is small. Let me get another one. So I'll just use this pattern paper. So let's say this is our starting line. This is our off shoulder. This is the line. This is the chest line, bust, waist, blah blah blah. So on this starting line now, that is where you put this your 4.5. I hope you understand. And then this is your armhole. You place your armhole, and then you place your bust measurement on that chest line, and then you connect it. That will give us your armhole, and then from your armhole down to your waist, and like that. So now the nipple to nipple, you just put your bust span. Though this part is not necessary, my interest is where you place your 4.5 inches, which I have showed you already. So let's just say I just put my bust span. I have a detailed video on how to draft a princess dart, an off shoulder. You can go ahead and watch it for better understanding. So let's just say I went ahead to put my kiniko. I just went ahead to put it like that. I hope you understand, like I'm drawing a bust here. So because this is rough, so my interest is to just show you where to place your 4.5. It should be at the tip of your fabric. So that is just how to have your off shoulder neckline basically. So the next one is our off shoulder sleeve. How to get your off shoulder sleeve. So I'll show you, but I hope you understand the off shoulder neckline. If you don't, please ask your questions. So your round sleeve, to get your off shoulder sleeve, you say your round shoulder circumference, minus your necklines, your round neckline or your neckline. So this is your round neckline. So this is your round neckline minus your round shoulder. Like you take the measurement from the person's round shoulder from the back to the front. That is round shoulder. So let's say in this case the round shoulder is 40 inches. Abi, and then the round sleeve, the round neckline, so mine is 4.5. So this 4.5, so you know this 4.5 will be at the front here, and whatever thing we have at the front is what we'll have at the back for the round neckline. So we'll just say 4.5 plus 4.5 will give us 9 inches. So I hope you understand. So in your own case, it might not be 9, no. So you just use your own body measurement. So you know the 4.5 we have, the neckline we have in front is definitely the same thing at the back. So you say the 4.5 in front plus that of the back is 9 inches. So now you said the round shoulder, which is 40 inches. This is just an example, minus the 9 inches. Minus the round inches divided by 4. Sorry, I forgot to you divide it by 4, guys. So minus the round inches divided by 4. So the formula is your round shoulder circumference minus your round neckline divided by 4. That is the formula. So your 40 inches minus 9 divided by 4. So you go ahead and minus 40 inches minus 9. So in my own case, it is 31 inches. So 31 inches divided by 4. So it gave us a long figure like that. So I'll just go ahead and do this on another pattern paper. So I'll just change the number. I'll just use an even number just for it to be more clear. Because it seems it's confusing because of that 9 inches. So I'll just go ahead now and demonstrate it here. So the formula for finding your off shoulder sleeve is your round shoulder minus your round neckline divided by 4. So for this case, we said the round shoulder is 40 inches. So round shoulder 40 inches minus 10 inches. So I'll just make use of 10 inches, an even number. So now when you minus this thing, it will give you divided by 4. So 40 minus 10 is 20. So 20 divided by 4 will now be 5. So this means that 5 is your off shoulder sleeve. So your sleeve will now be 5 inches on this side of your sleeve, 5 inches on the other side, 5 inches at the back, 5 inches at the other side of the back. So I hope you understand, and that will give you, when you plus that 5 inches, that will now be your 20 inches. So I hope you understand that. So the next one we'll be working with is our crotch depth. So for this crotch depth, the formula is very, very simple. It's a simple formula. It's just your hip circumference divided by 4. This will give you your crotch depth. So just measure your client's hip divided by 4, give you your crotch depth. So this minus 1 is when you are making a female pants or trouser, and that is when you want it to be fitted. If you don't want it to be that fitted, you leave it at 1, but at 4 without adding your 1 or minusing your 1. But when you are making for a male, please, it's just your hip circumference divided by 4. You do not minus anything because the male trouser is free. It's not tight at the crotch area. So now let's say this is our pants or trouser. So the crotch now is the distance from this hip to this place, like this. That is what is your crotch. So now you say so that is what is your crotch, the distance from your hip to that point. So now let's say this is our hip and this is our crotch. So now to get this crotch is what we are trying to do. So it is your hip measurement, your hip circumference. You just go ahead and measure the round part of your hip or the round part of your client's hip. Whatever thing you get, you divide it by 4. So in this case, let's say the hip circumference of this client now is 40 inches. So we'll say 40 inches divided by 4 is now 10 inches. So now if you are making for a male, you leave it at that 10 inches. You will not minus anything. You understand? But if you are making for a female and you want it fitted, this 10 inches you now minus 1 from it, so it will give you 9 inches. So that means the female crotch, this thing will now be 9 inches. So that's just it for crotch depth. It's not difficult at all. So that is all for our crotch depth. Let's move to the next one. So for the next one now, we'll be trying to know the distance between our waist and our hip, especially when we are drafting a skirt, trouser, that is a pants. We usually have this confusion, some people. So the formula for this now is your hip points minus your waist points. That is the formula to get the distance between your waist and your hip. So I'll just use my pattern paper to demonstrate this first before doing anything further for better understanding. So this is my pattern paper. This is a basic bodice pattern paper. So now they say your hip point minus your waist point. So you measure from your shoulder to your waist. From your shoulder to your waist, in my own case, is 16 inches. And from my shoulder to my hip is 24 inches. So what they mean is the distance between this your waist and your hip. That is what will give you the distance between your waist and your hip. So in my own case, you can see that I have 8 inches. 8 inches, that is the distance between my waist to my hip. And that's why I use 8 inches when I am drafting a skirt pattern. So you say your shoulder to waist is equals to 16, and then my shoulder to hip is equals to 24 inches. I said 4 inches. 24 inches. So you say 24, this 24 inches minus this 16 inches. So in my own case, that's 8 inches. And this will be the distance between our waist and hip. So 8 inches is the distance between my waist and hip. So let's say this is a skirt pattern. This is a pencil skirt pattern, for instance, and this is our waist. So the distance between there to here to the hip, the distance between the waist to the hip is 8 inches. So that is what I mean. So you mark your waist, your hip measurement, and then the length, and that's all for your skirt. So that's just what I mean here. So guys, that will be all for this class. Please, if you find this helpful, guys, please consider subscribing, turn on your notification bell to get notified when I upload a new video. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always stopping by. Please do not forget to ask your questions, leave a comment, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful. Don't forget to share. When you share and you give it a thumbs up, other people find the video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Till I see you in my next video. Bye for now and love you. Bye.